Let's do another Meanwhile on Snapchat, and this one is nothing like any other Meanwhile on Snapchat, not least of which because I'm wearing my cool new solar system white hoodie, but also because this video is a sister video to my Meanwhile on Snapchat, the universe's consciousness video. You know how in real life you have sister cities? This is a sister video. I've also made that personification. The reason is, this video is about the solar system. But before we get into the solar system, can you actually remember the planets in our solar system? From closest to the sun, we have Mercury, Venus, Earth, that's us, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. No space for Pluto. Let's just get into the video, shall we? When trying to decide what I want to do for my next YouTube series, I could pick between another best movie ever series or something on consciousness. Which do you think I chose? Nope. Let's talk about our solar system. The solar system is our home in this universe. Well, technically, Earth is our home in this universe because we haven't explored much further than Earth. We have a moon, but that's not important. Let's not get into it. Earth is one of the 4 rocky planets, and then there's the 4 gas giants after us. So the rocky planets are Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, and then the gas giants are Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, or Neptune. Now it could be said Uranus. Scientists don't agree, but I'm going to say Uranus because I might laugh every time I say the other one. Everything in the universe spins. Something weird that happens, nobody knows why. Even the sun spins. Most of the planets spin in what is called a prograde spin. In other words, they spin in the same direction that they orbit around the sun. But 2 of them, just to be difficult, the second one and the second last one, spin in what is called a retrograde spin. So they spin the opposite direction to how they orbit the sun. So you've got your rocky planets, which are pretty small, and then you've got your gas giants, which are really big. And as the name suggests, those planets don't have a surface that you can stand on. They are literally made out of gas. The biggest one is Jupiter, and then Saturn is pretty big. Saturn and Uranus have rings around them. The good thing about Jupiter and Saturn is that they protect us from asteroids and things coming in to hit the rocky planet. So, as on Earth, can be alive because those planets are protected. They're like our big brothers. When we get into the gas giants a bit later in the week, we're going to speak about their moons because some of them are pretty interesting and may have life on them. But up until now, we feel like a very lonely planet inside our solar system because Earth currently seems like the only place with life, which is fine. That just means that we live in the solar system. That's our home. And we need to start expanding and occupying our home. Maybe not in the physical sense, but in the metaphorical sense. We need to take charge of our solar system and our star. We'll get more into the details of our solar system, some of the peculiarities and some of the fun bits later in the week. This has just been an introduction. Can you remember the planets? Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Did you get them? Me neither. Yesterday we started speaking about the solar system, and although it is very exciting, our home in this universe, today we have to speak about the 4 rocky planets, and the 4 rocky planets suck. So I couldn't even be bothered to dress correctly. I'm straight shirt cocking it here while I do my meditations outside, but let's bang out this quick video and get it over with. The first planet and the closest planet to the sun of the 4 rocky planets is Mercury. Mercury sucks. It's literally right next to the sun, and it doesn't even have a special thing that we could say like it's the hottest planet in the solar system, because it's not. Mercury is just the worst. So Venus is covered with gas, and because of this, it is the hottest planet in our solar system. The sun gets in there and just heats it like a greenhouse effect. Interesting thing about Venus, it is the brightest thing in our sky, besides the moon and the sun. So if you've ever heard about the morning star or the evening star, that's Venus. So as soon as it's starting to get dark and you see the first star out, that's actually Venus. It's a planet, it's not a star. Earth, I guess, is pretty cool. We live here, we enjoy it. And it lives in this sort of Goldilocks zone where it's protected by our big brothers, the cool planets that we're going to get onto. And it kind of is the only place that we know of in the entire universe that has life. Although we just haven't looked very much. I'm pretty sure Venus has life. The supervillain planet next to Earth. I suppose there's stuff we can say about Earth. It's got a super fast spin, which is the reason the gravitational waves keep up the solar winds and all these fancy things. And the sister planet, Venus, has the most lazy, I can appreciate this, spin of all the planets. It hardly spins at all. It knows the rules of the universe. It needs to spin because everything spins. But a year on Venus is shorter. It's shorter than a day. A day on Venus is longer than a year. And on to number 4 of the 4 rocky planets, Mars. You may know Mars as the red star in the sky. It's not a star though, it's a planet. Like Earth, Mars has polar ice caps, which is pretty cool. And it is the second most irregular orbit around the sun. Second only to Mercury. So I guess we could say something about Mercury there. Mercury sucks, and it also has the worst orbit around the sun. Before we close off today, because I feel like I've let you down by hating the subject that I've been speaking to today, don't worry, we're going to get on to the gas giants where interesting things happen. And also, I might tell you about quantum life force, which is something I might get to. If we have time. We had to waste time with these stupid rocky planets. Earth's cool. I don't have anything against Earth, but come on. Rocky planets, get your act straight together. Okay, let's do it. The outer gas planets, the giant gas planets. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. And now, I know I said that they are gaseous. So I did say that they are gas giants, right? And I did imply that they were made out of gas, but they're not like a cloud that you can fly through and go, oh, I just went through a planet. It's gas on the outside, but most of them have some sort of hard interior. And also, I did say that Saturn and Neptune were the ones with rings. They've all got rings. Uranus has a solid, rocky core, like a normal planet. Jupiter and Saturn have a liquid, sort of metallic, it can conduct electricity, kind of metallic core. So there's some cool stuff going on. Let's get onto the moons quickly, because there's lots to talk about. Let's talk about Europa, which is one of Jupiter's moons, and let's talk about Titan, which is one of Saturn's moons. Now again, they get loads of moons, but let's just talk about these two to begin with. Europa is pretty small, smaller than our moon, about half the size of our moon, and it's pretty cold. Like, it's outside of the Goldilocks zone, so it's like minus 200 degrees or something ridiculous on these moons. So don't imagine you're going there for a sunny holiday. But it's got a icy, in other words, water outer surface and liquid water just underneath that, so probably life. Titan is another one that's pretty similar. So Titan is about the size of Mars, so it's just smaller than Earth. So it's really, really big. Again, it's really cold, and it's got ice on it, and some have seen some plumes of water, which, you know, sounds pretty cool as well. That's probably all I want to talk about the gas giants. And I know, I swear, I feel like I've let you down again, but we do have time. And I'm going to get to quantum life force. I've decided I'm going to do that. Just not today. Before we close out this cool little series on the solar system, we must talk about quantum life force, because I promised just not today. Moving forward, we as humans need to take charge of our solar system. We need to become a solar faring civilization. What does that mean? It means we need to expand our reach and take charge of the area that our solar system occupies, because as conscious beings, it is our responsibility to do this. Us as human beings need to take charge of our solar system. Our solar system is our responsibility as conscious beings. Your responsibility is global consciousness. If you don't know what that means, I'm not going to get into it, but there's plenty of stuff that I've made on YouTube about global consciousness. Go watch it. Sorry, dolphins, you stupid sea animals. Our planet is controlled by humans, but our solar system is not. Humans surveil and monitor and spy on each other and everything to do with humans on Earth, but we have no idea what is going on in our solar system. This is ridiculous. We need to start expanding and seeing what's going on in our solar system. You might have heard of Oumuamua. Not from me, because I find the name ridiculous and I refuse to talk about it. What is it? It's something that flew into our solar system, circled our sun, and then took off faster than it should have. It's this giant poo-shaped thing that was falling end over end and wasn't a comet because it didn't have any comet gases coming off of it. And also, it might be a spaceship because it was super shiny, sort of metallic. Humans took too long to realize that this thing was coming into our solar system and now going out of our solar system, and it's too late for us to send something after it to look at it. If we had the surveillance of our solar system, we would have seen it earlier and we would have watched it leave. But we didn't, because we are stupid humans. So we need to go forward as a solar-faring civilization and first expand into our solar system, monitor what's going on in our solar system and all of the planets, and then possibly go further than that. Quantum life force is coming tomorrow, and then we end this series. Good to see you. I think I should interrupt at this point to tell you that we've pretty much stopped speaking about the solar system, and the last day we only spoke about quantum life force, which is something I made up. So let's get into that. Can you remember the planets? If it makes it easier, group them into the rocky planets and the gaseous giants: Mercury, Venus, Earth, and Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Okay, great, we're finally done with the solar system. Wait, don't I usually have alcohol when I make these videos? Okay, so, quantum life force. I promised I'd tell you, and I'm just going to get into the overview, just the very basics to begin with, and at some point, maybe I'll make more videos on it. It's something that I've made up. It's not based on real science, but also scientists are stupid. So, the two things that are important when it came to me naming it quantum life force is quantum entanglement and quantum tunneling. I mean, I probably shouldn't get into quantum physics because it's pretty difficult to explain, but let me give it a go quickly. An overview of quantum physics with those two examples, okay? Quantum tunneling, what that means is, imagine there was a wall in front of you and you had a paintball gun, and then there's two gaps in the wall. If you shoot through those gaps, you'll see on the wall behind it the paint, obviously, but then when you get to where there's wall again, on the other side there won't be any paint. And then when you get to there's a gap again, you shoot, and then you get to the back wall. So if you go to the back wall afterwards, there'll be a little bit from the first gap, and there'll be a little bit from the second gap. That makes sense. We understand that. That's how the world works, except it doesn't. At the very, very small level, the quantum physics level, there's something called quantum tunneling. If an electron, being your paintball gun, gets shot through a wall and two slits, the exact same thing we did, instead of seeing the one group there and the other group there of paint on the far wall, what you actually see is paint all over the entire wall. So when an electron is moving, and because you haven't measured where exactly it is, it can go in certain places called the electron cloud. And that cloud can go through one of the tunnels on the side and then hit the back in the middle. It's confusing, but that's quantum tunneling, and it's a real experiment that real scientists do, and they don't know how it works. Okay, quantum tunneling is one thing. Maybe you think they just move. Quantum entanglement is another thing that scientists have done real experiments on and also don't understand. It's confusing, but to use something simple as an example, in the real world, if you took one thing like an apple and you cut it in half, you'd have two halves of an apple. If you turn the one half upside down, for instance, the other side's not all of a sudden going to turn upside down. We know how things work in the world, although they don't. On the quantum level, if you take that one thing, cut it in half, those halves are still linked. So you put one half here and you put the other half as far away as you want in the universe, and you do something to this half. That other half does the exact same thing. They are still linked. It's called quantum entanglement. Scientists don't know how it works. So then I thought, because I occasionally can see the future in my dreams, and we can feel the past, life force or consciousness or however we experience this universe is more complicated than we know. You've heard me speak about consciousness. But what if our consciousness is being measured in this moment that we're in? That's why we can feel it here. But actually, our life force or consciousness is entangled throughout our entire, from the start of our birth to the end of our life journey that we're on. Even though we can only feel the current moment, maybe we are still entangled, like quantum entanglement, to the rest of our life. The person like me, who can see the future when they dream, for instance, there might be a normal explanation for this, because then my consciousness is not locked in the present moment. Because when you're asleep and dreaming, we don't really know what happens to your consciousness, but it's not locked in the present moment because you fall asleep and wake up the next day. So what if at that point, when my consciousness is not locked or not being measured, as you speak about in quantum physics, maybe at that point I can see the future, because my life force, this quantum life force, is not locked. It's actually entangled to the other parts of time. Maybe. I don't know, I just made it up. Good to see you though. Okay, thanks past me. That's plenty from you. Don't forget to watch the sister video, but let's end this video now. This is now an end screen. What's going to happen, if you haven't seen an end screen before, is something's going to pop up down here for you to subscribe to my channel, and then other things are going to pop up here so that you have videos to watch. Enjoy doing that. I'm off.